So this is unstable. It's my internet connection. To come back to the class. Let's remove this window. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me welcome you to the second paper for the day. I hope you are done with the quiz for the first paper. Looks like our class is a bit depleted. I hope the others are aware that the lectures is continuing. Now we're having two papers today. I did announce that earlier on the platform. So while we wait for others, let me ask that that I hope you all participated effectively in the first paper of the day in business law. That is a very important topic as you prepare to go into doing business in Nigeria, because currently one of the things that are trending in Nigeria is the issue of ease of doing business. And what we try to do in that particular paper is to advise you on how to go about documentation issues, registration issues, and compliance requirements if you want to do any business in Nigeria. Right. Having said that, I want to look at another very important component of our training. This has to do with a practical session on how we complete the forms, the loan application forms, which is a necessary component in applying for the loan. I'm sure most of you have already completed the forms, and some haven't. There are some who are out of town that we normally send the forms to in their various locations, so they don't have the benefit of coming to our office and sitting with our staff who put them through the process of completing the forms. For such people, this session is important. And even for those who are in town who come to see us in the office before completing the form, it's also important that we have this discussion with them, because in the course of this session, many have, after this session, called to say they want to make one or two changes in their forms, or maybe are better briefed on the expectations, and then decide to make some amendments to their form, or decide to choose to change the topic, or sorry, the business activity they intended to go through because of the enlightenment that comes from it. So let's hope that after this session, those who have not completed their forms will know how to go about it with ease, and those who may want to change their minds on account of what they would have learned in the process also decide to do so. We're always open to effect such amendment to their forms. All right, so the topic for the day is a practical session on completion of loan application forms. I know the day is well spent, so we'll try to see how we go through it as quickly as possible so that members can, participants will go about their normal business. All right, so let's commence by looking at the learning objectives of this particular topic. The first learning objective is to highlight the importance of the AGNIS loan application form, or to show how important the AGNIS loan application form is, because it's one of the important elements of the loan process. Without a completed form, there's no way that you'll be able to access the loan. Somebody some few days ago sent me a long list of typed items and along with a blank form. And I said, what do you want me to do with this form? I'm not the one who is applying for the loan. You want to seek admission to an institution, you go to the bank and you want to seek for loan. Do you go and give the bank manager the list of items that are asked for on the form? You complete the form and submit, you know. So it goes to show how important the form is in assessing the loan. So second learning objective is to understand the importance of each section. For each section is important. Each field that has been given to you, you will need to complete it. You need to understand it and complete it. Okay, that's why that section is given. Then to explain the expected response for each section. Each section is supposed to elicit some kind of a response. So we'll help you to explain that to you as you prepare also for the interview, because one of the forms that we'll be showing you how to complete, you also have to take it with you to the bank during the interview, because the bank will also give you another copy of that same form to complete. We use it now for purposes of developing the business plan. So those who are doing the business plan we need them to complete that particular form, which will help us in preparing the business plan. Okay, and then of course to help you also when you go for the interview, to know how you complete the forms and then respond to the issues that they may raise. Then finally, the submission process. There's a process in which the forms are submitted. You don't just complete and then go and submit yourself. You have to pass through an EDI. So those are things that we'll be looking at. Okay. Right. So loan documentation process. So we'll now look at the loan documentation process. As I said earlier, the whole essence of the training is how to assess the NASA Microfinance Bank AGNIS loan facility. Okay, that is the whole essence of this training, because this training is mandatory. It's one of the mandatory things that you need to do before you assess the loan, before you can apply for the loan. The second one, of course, is the business plan. Okay, so those are the two most important things that you need to do. Get a training and then develop business plan. Okay, so there's a process flow. There's a sequence of activities before you can assess this loan. The first is to get trained. Okay, which is what we are doing now, getting trained. Okay, attending the 5 days mandatory training, which is an entrepreneurship training program. Then the second one is apply for the loan through an EDI. If you are applying for the loan, you have to apply for the loan through an EDI. Okay, we are your EDI, Sidro is your EDI, so you apply for the loan through us, and we'll help you to process it and then place it on the NASA portal. It's their responsibility to assess the submission that we make, and they invite you for an interview, and thereafter they take it over from us. Then third process item on the process flow is you are expected to complete the loan application form and submit your EDI, which will forward to NASA Microfinance Bank. So the loan application, you are expected to complete it. That is what we're looking at now. How do you complete that loan application form? So we'll look at how you go about completing that loan application form. So the fourth and final process flow is create your profile on the portal. Create your profile on the national loan portal. And then the address, of course, is nbfb.com.ng/SME. Okay, so those who are not paying for consultancy or not doing their consultancy with us, those who are not, we are not developing their business plans for, will be expected to develop their business plan and upload it on the NISA microfinance portal. Okay, and one of the ways of doing that is to go to the portal and create your own profile there. Okay, but if we are doing it for you, when you complete these forms for us, we will now be able to develop this thing for you. That's what we do. Okay. Okay, so we'll start by looking at the first questionnaire, which will have the first form. Okay, for our purpose, we have developed an Agnes mini business plan questionnaire from which we are able to generate the data. Sorry. From which we are able to generate the data to develop the business plan for you. Okay, so this particular form that we'll be looking at now is a questionnaire form, and we are the ones who developed that one. And it is what we normally use to the materials, the information you provide on that form questionnaire is what we use in developing the business plan for you. So we'll go through the same form now, just so as to be able to guide participants on that particular questionnaire. All right. All right, so that's the first page of the form. It's called the Agnes Mini Business Plan Questionnaire. I'm sure those you are all familiar with it. I want to believe that we have all seen this form. If you haven't seen it, then of course you just follow carefully. Because if we're going to do the business plan for you, we'll be sending you a copy to complete. So if you're able to get acquainted with it, it will be worthwhile. All right, so the questionnaire is divided into different sections. The first section is the individual info, that's a personal information. Second one is on educational qualification. The third one on business information. Then the fourth section, details of business ownership, details of staff, and then the marketing. So let's start from the very top. That's straightforward. It's as straightforward as possible. The information fields include name of applicant, that's surname and other names, then gender, which you complete. Home address, your home address, that's where you are resident, where you live. And then the closest landmark. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we have a deficient addressing system. Our streets are hardly named and numbered. So you find most times if you are given directions of your home or your office, you are given those directions by indicating the landmarks that are closest to your location. In a place like Okinawa, I think they are trying to change that that kind of situation by knowing every house, every structure. Abuja is doing well, but the numbering is still a little bit deficient in some areas, and that's something that we really need to improve on. So for your home address, we need you to give us the closest landmark. Okay, what's the closest landmark to your residence? Is it a bank, maybe by the corner? Is it a police station? A telecom mast? Is it a church? Whatever. So you indicate. Okay, you give your address and then the closest landmark. If you see our own office address, for example, our two office addresses, which we sent to most members, both indicated. In our Utako office, the closest landmark is Etana filling station. I'll just tell you behind Etana filling station. And in Gogolada, I will tell you beside Two Venture Bookshop, a very popular bookshop in Gogolada. All right, so that's about that. Then date of birth, you tell us, give us your date of birth. State of origin, you indicate it. Then your phone number, it's important that we have it. Then your email, and then your BVN. Your BVN is important. We will need to have your BVN because that stands as the collateral for this loan. Because in as much as it's a collateral-free loan, you're not bringing any guarantor, but the bank will want your BVN because your BVN is what that we use to track you down in case there is a default. Because of late, there's a CBN directives that says if you are banking with Bank A and you take a facility, and then of course, instead of servicing the loan, you decide to migrate to Bank B so as to avoid paying this loan. With your BVN, the bank, your creditors will be able to track you to Bank B, and of course, CBN has given the approval that where such a case occurs, Bank A can now approach Bank B and be able to collect their money from you. So long as you have banking relationship in this country, you'll be able to be tracked and then to fulfill your obligation. So mode of identification. What mode of identification do you have? Is it national ID, international passport? Is it driver's license? Is it voter's card? These are the main modes of ID we have in Nigeria. And then, of course, the ID number. Every mode of identification has the number, ID number, so you give us that one. Email address, we've talked about that. The password, you can leave the password out for now. Then, of course, what you should note is that all of the information on this form should be provided in capital letter, because some people's writing is a little bit difficult to understand, since they went to school in the night. So you write it in capital letters, you'll be able to pick it out easily. All right, so educational qualification, this is the second section. You give us the name of your institution, the institution you attended, the qualification you acquired, and then the course you did in school, and then the date certificate was awarded. You don't have to give specific day like day, months, and year. All you need to do is just give us the year. If it's year 2000, you indicate. If it's 2010, 2015, or whatever, you just give us that date. That will suffice. Business, that's the information on your business. Do you have a registered company? Yes or no? If you have, you can give us, okay? If you don't have any registered company, and then say under name of company, we still want you to write something, okay? You can write your name, like we have look here, we can say Look Farms, for example. That will stand, whether it's registered or not, okay? But the loan is a personal loan. So whether you have a registered company or not, the bank will still consider you, okay? When you start the business and you start flourishing, then of course you have to go and register a company under which the business will be run, because you will be expected to be a responsible corporate citizen by paying your taxes for doing the business, okay? Then the address of the business. If it's registered company or already existing company with an address, you give us the address. If it's not, and you're using your name, you give us your home address where you reside if you don't have any particular office address, okay? Then the closest landmark, again, just give us the closest landmark to your office. All right, state, here is your own state where the business, is located. You let us know where the business is located. And then, of course, your nationality. Type of business. Here, there are various types of business activities. And then, of course, the other section says business sector. So let me scroll up further up so that we'll look at the various these types of businesses that are available from which you can choose your line of business. Okay, so here we have types of business activity. Okay, you see the list here includes poultry, fisheries, tailoring, furniture making, printing, catering services, hairdressing, bakery, organic cream making, ICT, animal husbandry, carpentry, masonry, curb and electric pole making, block making, welding and fabrication, agric and agro, allied processing. So all these are business activities. Sector, of course, include agric, fashion and design, ICT, media, publishing, beauty / cosmetics, mining, hospitality, cosmetics, again, beauty and makeup artistry, cottage industry. So where you have something like poultry, fishery, is agricultural sector, that's agricultural sector. Where you have tailoring, it falls under fashion and design sector. Okay? When you have catering, falls under hospitality and the like. Where you have things like cake making, block making, all those ones fall under cottage industry, okay? So that is how you identify your business activity. So let's go back to our form again. All right, so types of business, that's what they mean, that's what we mean when we ask for type of business, and then the sector, okay? So type of business could be poultry, you write poultry, sector will be agri, okay? is tailoring, falls, the sector falls under fashion and design. Okay, stage of business, is it a startup? Is it existing? Okay, by startup we mean a business idea that you have, but you have not started doing anything about it at all. Nothing is on ground. Okay, but you have that idea, and that's what you want to pursue. That's the passion that what your passion drives you to do. Okay, so you indicate startup. But if it's existing business is any business that at least you've started working on, even if it's at a rudimentary level. So if you're into poultry and you have maybe just a few birds here and there, which you feed and nurture and sell during festive periods, that's already an existing poultry business. So what you're looking for money for is how to expand that business. So years of operation, you indicate the years of operation of that business. Business vision, business mission, then business objectives. Okay, this most instances people get confused in this area, but it's very straightforward also. When we talk about business vision, if you see the brochure of most organizations, companies, and in fact, even on their signage outside the office, most instances, or when you enter inside their foyer, their reception area, you see the vision of the organization. Okay, a vision of any organization is the larger picture of what the organization sets out to do, or what it sets out to accomplish, or what it sets out to be. Okay, so normally vision statements are written in a very, very futuristic manner that says to be this. Okay, so if you are like you're starting a poultry business in Abuja, the FCT, and your intention, your whole vision, your whole larger picture is to become the largest poultry business in the FCT. You could, the mission statement of that poultry farm could be to be the best and the most modern poultry farm in Abuja. That is their mission. Okay, so within the next 5-10 years, what we are looking at is being the best and the most modern poultry business in Abuja. Okay, what of the mission? The mission normally is like in all missions are like adventure. That's what you set out to do. Your mission is what you set out to do, how you intend to accomplish the goals of that vision. So for your poultry business, for example, you will now indicate that to use the most modern technologically driven processes to achieve their goals. Okay, to be the most modern. The larger picture is to be the largest and most modern poultry business in Abuja, poultry farm in the FCT. Their mission is to using the best technological innovations and systems to accomplish to be the largest poultry farm in the FCT. So here you want to be the largest and most modern. And how do you become most modern? Through the use of technology, through the use of new innovative ideas. Okay, so your mission is to use the most advanced technological skills in achieving the goals of being the largest poultry farm in the FCT. Okay, business mission. What's the business mission? Normally, of course, a business objective. Your objective is what that business sets out to accomplish. For a poultry farm, your objective is production of eggs and then maybe layers. Okay, or broilers, developing broilers. So your business objective is to be the largest supplier of eggs and chicken meat in Abuja, in the FCT. That is the objective. That's what you are setting out to do. That's the bottom line of that business. A supplier of eggs, and then of course chicken meat. Okay, so that is the business objective. Okay, all right. The next is, do you belong to a cooperative society? If you are, you say yes. If no, say no. If it's yes, then name the cooperative. Yeah. I'm sure what that question is being asked because cooperative societies are very, very common in the country, and cooperative societies assist each other a lot. So that's why they want to know, and then of course see whether collectively as a cooperative there is a way that it can be assisted. Okay. Details of business ownership. Just a minute. excuse me, details of business ownership. Here, is it a sole proprietorship? That's you're the sole owner. If it's you're the sole owner, you just write your name and then your percentage, which is 100%. But if there are others, if you're a registered company, of course, that means there will be other shareholders, because CAC will not register a company for you as without a registered company without other owners. So you indicate who the other owners are and then their shareholding in that company. So if there are three of you, for example, you give your name, Freda Obami, and then Freda Obami, and then two others, and then you, who is the MD or the chairman, you have 50%, and then you share 25 to the others. That's how it's done. Okay. Then details of staff. Any organization, no matter how small, definitely you'll not be the only person working there. Even if you hire people that come and work for you, the fact that they come in and work for you on and off on a regular basis and you pay them, of course, they are part of your staff. So you indicate, you give their names, and then there are various areas of responsibility. So if you give your own name, what's your responsibility? You are the MD of the place, you are the manager of the place. The next person could be head of operations of the farm. The other person could be the marketing officer. The other could be the driver, the laborers who work in the field, and all of those things. So you indicate, and then indicate their responsibility. All right, marketing. Type of products. Looking at the type of products here. Let's see, okay. Type of products and service. If you're in the poultry business, of course, the type of product is either eggs or the chicken meat. Okay, so the cost of production, what's the cost of production of that product? How much you spend in construction of production of the chicken and the eggs. Okay, you'll be able to tell us by the time you put together all the input that are going into supporting that farm. You'll be able to let us know how much you spend on that. Selling price, by the time you produce, how much you sell. Okay, if you are into poultry farming, cost of a crate of egg could be maybe 800 naira, and then you sell, and then as a wholesale price, then those who buy will sell at 850 for their own you see. You can control those axes, sorry. Sorry, just a minute. Let's clear something from our monitor. All right. Sorry, we're trying to do some housekeeping here. So selling price, target audience, what the target market for you? If you're in FCT, of course, the whole of FCT, there are about 8 to 10 million people in FCT will be a target market. Where's the location? You're in FCT, maybe you're located in Buhari, Gwagwalada, Karu, or city center. You will indicate where your location is, okay? All right, so the second page, SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is where we'll be expected to do some little analysis. Any business that you do, I'm sure when you, the second day paper, when you were doing financial, feasibility studies, in the course of the feasibility studies, I know that you people discussed SWOT analysis and what it entails, what it means by SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is also an acronym which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay, any business that you want to go into, you want to do an analysis of the strength of your business, okay, and how competitive it can possibly be, and whether after you do the SWOT analysis, whether it will be worthwhile to still go into the business. So before you start any business, you want to be very, very sure, okay, that look, yes, this business I'm going to, I can be competitive, okay, I can be competitive. Yeah, I can face the challenge. Yes, the market is there, and then the opportunities are there. Yeah, there are some problems, challenges here and there, but these are things that are surmountable that I can overcome. So that's what SWOT analysis does for you. Strength and weaknesses, these are internal to the organization, to your business. Okay, so what are the strengths of your business? What are the weaknesses? So it's internal to the organization. Opportunities, on the other hand, are external to the organization or to the business. Okay, these are things that are outside of your control. These are things that you don't have immediate control over. But the strengths and weaknesses, these are things that you have control over. The opportunities are something that are outside of your own purview, outside of your own control. The same thing also with threats. Threats normally are things like attacks that come from the outside. Okay, so what could be your strength? Let's do some analysis here and discuss some how you do SWOT analysis. Okay, let's continue with the example of poultry farm that we are discussing about. We mentioned it since. Okay, for your strengths, for example, strengths which are internal to you. Your strength in the poultry business could be in the area of the high quality, highly qualified and dedicated staff that you have. Okay, the situation where you find that in this line of business, you have staff who are highly qualified, who know the business of poultry and who are dedicated. That is an area of strength for you. Okay, excellent marketing and managerial skills. Maybe you've been doing this business before, you have done it somewhere before you came up to set up your own. So you have excellent managerial system, you have excellent marketing and managerial skills. That is a strength for you. Okay, or it could be in the strong technical know-how of the business. You have strong technical know-how of the business. You know how to manage a poultry farm. You know how to set up all the technical issues. You know everything about managing the layers and then the broilers, how to groom the broilers to maturity before sale. You know the period from which you begin to nurture them, changing their feeding, their milling system until such a time that they are mature to be sold. Okay, the same thing also with handling of the layers and how you handle the eggs, how you structure the pens so that the beds are in one side and then the column where the eggs are laid in another section. All of these are your technical skills, the technical know-how that you have. So if you have all of those, these are your strengths. Then of course, what are the weaknesses? What are the weaknesses? Your weaknesses could be in the area of poor distribution network. Okay, you might not have the finances, so you are not able to maybe get yourself a delivery van that will help you with delivery of your base and then the eggs. So distribution network is poor for you. And then of course, in terms of competition, you're not able to effectively compete with your other competitors because of that. There are insufficient funds for expansion. That's why many of us are applying for this loan facility now, because we need the funds to expand our business. We're already doing it at such a minimal level, but we want to expand it to a much higher level. Okay, but then the finances, the resources are not there for you to be able to expand that business. So that could be a weakness there for you. Okay, then maybe the unpopularity of your brand, because maybe you're just entering the market, you are not so well known within the community, within the FCT, because there are other bigger poultry farms that are doing a lot better, whose products are known better. Though there might not be much differences in your output in terms of the best that you produce and then in terms of the eggs, but the singular fact that you are not so well known could be a weakness in that area. Then what are the opportunities? What are the opportunities? Remember, I would say opportunities are external to you, okay? Opportunities are external to you. These are things you don't really have control over. They could overwhelm you, or they could open up doors for you to be able to accomplish things. Okay, so in the poultry business, for example, one of the opportunities that you find, which is readily available in Nigeria, is a very favorable agricultural policy that we have in Nigeria today. We're all aware that government has banned the importation of poultry products, both the birds and the eggs. So that means we have a ready large market. Okay, previously the country was inundated with all manners of poultry products being imported from all places in the world. Okay, but with the ban on poultry product, this one now means that Nigerians have been given the opportunity to take full charge of the market opportunities that we have in the country, and the market is very vast. Okay, we have over 200 million people in Nigeria, so it means, and then of course these are people who are permanently eating meat and things like that. Okay, so that opportunity is there. Okay, then already existing market. There's an already existing market. That's why all this importation has been coming in to fill the gap that is there. Because all we're looking at previously is just the local chicken and how much of the local chicken can go around. So that's why we have to supplement with the importation. But now that it has been banned, that means that large existing market now belongs to those who want to go into poultry business in Nigeria. And of course, the market is always there. You know, another thing that has contributed to the market is that, look, there's an all year round demand for it. And one of the reasons, the contributing reasons, is some of it is medical, because these days, because of health issues, cholesterol and things like that, people have been discouraged from eating red meat. Okay, but doctors are prescribing that they should eat more white meat, and white meat, of course, is categorized as chicken, as fish. Okay, so all these are white meat. So the singular fact that because of all these kind of medical issues that has come in, white meat represented by chicken and fish is becoming more and more popular. So these days you see people, more and more people going into buying chicken and then of course buying fish for their food. Okay, so these are the opportunities that are available in the market. Then what are the threats? The threats, of course, include the very stiff competition that we have in the poultry business. Okay, because of the large market, the existing demand, more and more people are going into the poultry business. Okay, so the demand is large and the competition is also very stiff. More people are going in, so competitors, there are many competitors in poultry business. Then, of course, there's the issue of theft and insecurity. We all know how the situation in our country is today. Most people who are major farmers, large-scale farmers, have all run off the farm. In fact, even there are those who go to farm for them, the hand laborers and all of that have also stopped going to farms because of the threats of banditry, because of the threats of kidnapping, cattle rustling, invasion of poultry farms, cutting away their birds and eggs and all of those things. So these are major threats: issues of security, issues of theft. Then another major threat is the issue of disease prevalence. Okay, the chicken, we're all aware, especially at the day-old chick level, are all very, very vulnerable. Okay, they are easily susceptible to diseases. Okay, we've heard so much about the avian flu, about the chicken, bird flu, and all of those things. So all these are diseases that threaten the lives of the poultry industry. Okay, so these are threats. They are external to us. They are things we don't have much control over, but these are things that can pop up at any time and give a lot of stress to poultry farmers. You can do the same analysis for any other line of business. If you are in tailoring, for example, we can follow the same pattern that I've given to do that same analysis, because basically what one line of business experiences is basically what another line experiences, especially in our country like this that is so well structured. Okay, so that is how we do the SWOT analysis. Okay, right. So let's look at business competition. Say name of competitor. In any business that you are, definitely you know who your competitors are. Okay, and your competitors are those who are in the same line of business as you. Okay, so you'll be able to give, even if you don't know the name of any, all you need to write in that area is poultry, other poultry farmers. That will suffice. Okay, that's even if you don't know the name of the competitor. Type of products, of course, all poultry farm products. Product types are either chicken meat or eggs. Those are the two main output from a poultry business. Okay, location of the competitor, of course, it has to be within your own environment, within your own community. So it's in FCT, even if it's in Buhari and you are in Kubwa, you are all competitors, because basically you are going after the same target customers. Location of competitor, you have to locate where he is within your immediate environment, so you indicate. Then what is your competitor's cost of production? One of the things that most people do, and we all do it really, if you want to go into any line of business, one of the first things you want to do is the cost of production of your competitor. How much is he producing, so that you could possibly undercut him, like cutting down your own price, so that to be able to woo and then bring in more customers. until such a time when you stabilize before you now also begin to play some kind of shenanigans here and there. But there's always that tendency for you to know what your competitor, the cost of your competitor's product is. So you indicate it, you state how much is the cost of production. If your own cost of production, for example, is 1,000 naira, okay, you indicate if his is 1,200 or thereabout, because basically what you're trying to do is to be able to beat him in terms of cost of production. What makes your product different or unique? Well, for poultry farm, there isn't going to be much of a difference from that, unless, of course, if your products are big and massive, then you can indicate that they are bigger birds or bigger eggs. That's what comes out of your own farm. Okay, all right. So that takes care of business competitors. Company assets. What are the company's assets? If you have already existing business, you're in poultry farm, for example, you'll be able to indicate you have the farm, the land which the farm is on, you have the equipment, you have the pens, for example, chicken pens, all those are assets. Here you have a generator, you have a borehole, all these are assets of the company. But even if you don't have an existing company and you are just an individual who wants to start a business, we will still advise that you indicate what your assets are. And your assets could include anything that's personal to you. Even if it's a car, you have a car, of course, that fund becomes part of your company asset. You indicate the price, the year of purchase, and then the lifespan, how what's the projected lifespan of that asset. Okay. Cash at hand in bank, I will leave that one out. Customer there will leave that one out. Monthly expenses. Okay, monthly expenses here, the items listed include rent, administrative costs, salaries, utilities, raw materials, others. Okay, here, when we talk about monthly expenses, what you do, if it's rent, for example, your rent per annum, you find out what your rent per annum is. If it's 1 million, 1 million to get the monthly expenses, you just divide by 12 and it tells you how much you pay on a monthly basis. So you indicate the amount. The same thing with administrative costs. If you're in an office setting, the administrative costs will be things that as the cost of consumables, for example, cost of papers, pens, copiers, and their toners, which you have to change on the every now and then basis. So you know the total amount of money for that particular item, then you divide by 12 to be able to get the monthly expenses. The same thing with salaries of your staff. If you have 5 staff and you pay them like 250,000 naira overall, you divide by that amount on a monthly basis, and then you'll be able to indicate. So some will go for utilities, raw materials, and the rest. Okay, whatever it is, know the gross amount, and then you net it, you divide, and then you know what the monthly amount is for that particular item. Okay, loan requirements. We've indicated that for startups, the highest amount of money that can be given to you is 10 million. Sorry, it's 5 million. Okay, the loan range itself is between 1 to 10 million. Okay, so you know what you want to collect. Okay, but the maximum amount for startup is 5 million, and then for existing loan is 10 million. Loan tenure is 7 years. That's 7 years within which you'll be expected to defray. Any existing loan? You have any existing loan? If it's yes, you say yes. If no, indicate no. If yes, expiry date, you indicate the expiry date. Why that question is asked mostly, I believe, is because the government does not want people to go into financial stress. I'm told that your monthly take-home should not be less than 33% of your monthly salary. So whichever way, government will insist that that amount of money, that nothing less than that amount of money should anybody be left to go home with. Okay. So you see some people that are taking so much loan facilities from different places, from different banks. At the end of the month, they are going home maybe just 5,000 naira from a salary of maybe 150,000 naira. That would be serious financial embarrassment. So financial stress. So if you have any loan, you indicate, and then you indicate the expiry date, okay, and then the name of the financial institution that gave you that loan. So those are important things to do. Loan utilization, under loan utilization, the items are also the same with the monthly expenses. Here, we'll be looking more in terms of the total amount now. So your rent amount on the monthly basis in your workplace, for example, you indicate it's 1 million, you indicate 1 million. Administrative costs, the total amount you spend for administrative issues, day-to-day running costs, we also indicate. Utilities, that's for things like water bill, electricity, you'll be able to know how much you spend them down on a year-to-year basis. So you indicate. So that same applies to machineries, raw materials, and the rest. Okay. Then, importantly, the last section here is referees. We need to have your referees. Okay, 2 referees, their phone numbers and addresses. These are very, very important. Okay, they are not guarantors; they are just character referees. People who know you should be able to tell us in case questions have been asked about you. You should be able to respond on your behalf. All right. So we have finished the very first form. So what we'll do now is we'll open the floor so that we'll ask if you have any questions to ask. You can take any questions before we proceed. Okay. So let's open the floor and then we'll unmute everybody. So open the floor. All right, our class has improved to 9 of us now. All right, so if you have any question, please you unmute and so that you talk to us, ask your question. I can see this comment on chat. You're ready for the class? Okay, 1:30. All right, that's no question. Yeah, Madam Freda, you have a question?
God bless you, sir. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. Are you?
I really enjoyed the class, sir. That on the form, below the form,
yeah,
on the left, you see where it's written, submit soft copy.
Under what?
On the form.
Yes.
You see where it's indicated, submit soft copy. Are you doing that on our behalf or we have to do that?
Yes, no, we are going to do that. So long as we are doing a business plan for you, we'll do that for you.
Okay, sir. Then my second question is in my corporate affairs.
Yeah.
In the form I filled. I'm not the only the only director there.
Yeah.
My son and my husband are part of me. But it was not indicated while I was filling the day I was filling the form. Is that any problem? Is that a problem?
It's not a problem. Like I said, the loan is a personal loan. So whether you have a registered company that you are using or not, your name is the most important one. So long as your name is there, you are the one that is recognized. Okay. But if there are names that you already are indicating a company, registered company, and then they are supposed to be other shareholders, it's good if you are able to indicate who the shareholders are. So what you can do is you can text the names for us. We'll help you complete it in your form. And then the shareholding, that's the percentage holding they have.
It's okay, sir.
All right, okay, thank you.
For submission of Form CO2 and so on.
You don't have to go into all those levels of submission of Form CO2. What you're completing now, we just need only the basic information. You don't have to send any attachments.
It's all right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Any other question? Eunice Odan, I can see you're unmuted. All right, Eunice. Pauline Naboya. No questions for anybody else? All right, so we'll continue with our class if there are no questions again, right? Okay, so we'll go back to our class and then look at the second form. Look at the second form quickly, then we'll proceed from there. All right, so close the, start sharing. All right, okay, it's okay. All right, so we'll come back to our class. All right, so we'll now look at the second loan application form. Here we are saying that there are two loan application form templates on the NASA portal. Okay, if you want to do the business plan yourself and you access the portal, the NASA portal, there are two loan application forms there. Okay, the first one is owned by NASA itself. That one is a little bit complex, but we always recommend the template by Simplified Credit. Simplified Credit is an IT company which is in partnership with NASA, and we encourage our clients to use that. Okay, we will now look at the copy of that one and then try to put you through. That's actually the most popular template they use on the NASA portal, and the business plan derived from that is always been the one that is more frequently utilized. Okay? They're the ones that will pay $5,000 to before you are able to access the document. All right. So the form, the loan application form is divided also into 4 sections. There's the personal details, the business details, the loan utilization details, and then the training details. Every section is important, and you're expected as usual to complete it in block letters. So let's look at the form now. So that's the form on the monitor now. That's the form on the monitor. As you can see, it's, like I said, divided into 4 sections: the personal details, business details, loan utilization, and training details. All right, so let's start by looking at the various sections. Personal details, of course, is very similar to the other one we've looked at, so it's nothing much there. The only difference here is the state of origin and state of residence. State of origin, you could be from, let's say, be from Kaduna State, and you are resident in Kano, okay? So you just indicate state of origin Kaduna, state of residence Kano, okay? So that's the only thing there. If not, every other thing is straightforward. Remember again, your BVN, it's important that you give us your BVN. Business details, detailed business details. Here, we're asking to name of business enterprise. What's the name of your business enterprise? Some have registered their companies like Freda, for example, but others don't. Okay, but whether you have a registered company or not, we insist that you give us a business name of a business enterprise, whether it's registered or not. So for something like that, we could simply say, look in Aboya farms, look in Aboya poultry farms, or something like that. That is a business name, whether it's registered or not. But we just need that one for purposes of developing the business plan, generating the data for the business plan. Okay, business address, that's where the business is located. You give us that one. Then company bank account number. Here, you don't have to fill that one here now. Why? Because it's when you are invited for the interview. When you're invited for the interview, that you will now indicate after the interview, you'll be given a form for opening of account by NASA Microfinance Bank. When they give you, when you open the account and then they give you the account number, that's when you now insert the number there, okay? And then the name of the bank, which is NASA Microfinance Bank, okay? Then type of business activity. What's the type of business activity? We've already discussed that earlier. I remember when we went here and then we looked at the various business activities, okay, the poultry, fishery, and the rest, and then the sector, we also looked at that, okay? So that's what you are expected to give there, okay? Startup, we've already discussed whether it's startup. If it's yes, indicate. If it's no, then you tell us the number of years of the existing operation. All right. Then the next most important section is actually the most critical, most important section of this form. Okay, that's the loan utilization form. Here, the very first question you are asked again is the loan amount. Like I said, the loan amount stretches from 1 million to 10 million. Startup, the highest you can get is 5 million. existing loans, of course, existing business, of course, up to 10 million. Purpose of the loan, if it's a startup, is to start a business. If it's existing, is to expand a business. Okay, all right, and then the number of years of operation. If it's an existing business, you tell us the number of years of existence of that business. Okay, so after that, this other section, required equipment and working capital. These are the two most important sections here. So let's scroll further to the next few pages, and then so that we can discuss that section, the loan utilization section. So here we are saying that the loan utilization is, this is where we need to pay really close attention. The bank wants to know exactly how you intend to use their money. Okay, you'll be expected to make a proposal in this section. Okay, that's the bank will want to know how you intend to use their money. Okay, to buy AYZ or XYZ for such and such an amount. Okay, so this is very important. The bank wants you to make a proposal, tell it what kind of equipment you require and what type of working capital you require. This section is divided into two. Okay, it asks you to provide details of required equipment and then the working details of the working capital. In the funding model of the bank will finance assets only. That's financial equipment. Then we'll give you working capital. Okay, the bank, of course, knows that most applicants will want the bulk of the money. They want the money. Okay, they don't want any equipment for them. They just want the money because they believe that the money that comes to hand, they will have the liberty to use it as they want. But when such monies are provided, most people end up diverting it. So the bank is very, very cautious. Therefore, it came up with what we call the golden rule of 70-30% of the loan. Okay, 70% of the total loan will go into equipment. Okay, and then the working capital will take 30%. That is what the bank does. Previously, the bank was giving 100% for agri-business, but they found that as more and more people were coming into agri and collecting the money, and they were not seeing any utility, they were not using it for the purpose intended. So what they've decided to do is that, look, we are going to have a vendor, okay, for the 70%, which is the equipment. We'll have a vendor that will supply you the equivalent of that 70%. So if you're collecting that like 10 million now, for example, 70%, which is 7 million, will go to the vendor that will assist you in procuring the equipment, because they actually want you to go into that business, not that they'll give you the money. We had stories of a lady who collected the money and then simply sent her children abroad with it. That is not the purpose of that loan. Okay, if you do that one, that is gross misapplication of the loan, and it could lead to some trouble for you. Okay, so that is what the government, the bank has decided to do. So let's look at how you complete that section of the loan application, the loan utilization section. Okay, let's look at a business in agri and then one in SME, so as to be able to how to complete that loan application form. Okay, so using poultry business as an example, a typical poultry farmer may need the following. Okay, these are the things that a typical poultry farmer will require. Okay, lease of land for say 1.2 million, construction of pens at 1 million, battery cages at 800,000, borehole at 600,000, generator at 400,000, egg crates at 100,000, and delivery van at 1.5 million. If you are going to process live, if you are going to process birds, for example, or process chicken, you need a deep freezer where you also be able to store the birds which you are processing. All right. So this could be a list of equipment, though some people might need more than that. Okay. Then working capital. Working capital. You will need the following: staff salaries, let's say 270,000, broilers 500,000, layers 500,000, utilities 100,000. Then feeds. Feeds are very, very important in the poultry farm, because the birds are eating every second, every minute of the day. So you have to keep supplying them fees at every given point in time. So when you add up everything, it should give you the total loan amounts, and that's what you request for. Okay, so let's go back and look at that section on the form. Okay, so you can see the section on the form again. So what you have there is the loan application section, the loan utilization. So you find here now that under equipment, your equipment, like we said, we include land, lease of land, construction of pens, battery cages, borehole, generator, egg crates, and delivery vans, and then the amounts. Okay, so you write them against, and then the working capital we suggested could include staff salaries, brawlers, layers, utilities, and feeds, okay, and the amount. By the time you total that amount, then that's when you now indicate the loan amount. That's when you now write out the loan amount. That is the expectation, okay? So let's go back and discuss some more on that aspect of loan utilization. Okay, I've already talked about if you want to go into frozen or processed chicken, you require deep freezer as part of your equipment, yeah? All right. Then, of course, recently the bank also came up with a decision that anybody who wants to go into poultry farming should make up his mind about one, that you cannot go into both broiler farming and production of layers. Okay, not both. You can choose between one. So you could, if you're into poultry, you could just choose to go for broiler. That's breeding the birds from a day old to maturity, that 3 to 6 months, then you begin to sell. Or if you want to go into layers, that means you are specializing purely on eggs. Okay, so you need to make up your mind what you want. Okay, because at the point of interview, that issue might come up, right? And then again, for poultry farm, the total amount that we have here, by the time you compute the figures you just saw, it comes to like 8.5 million, and the working capital for 2.9 million, okay, which is like 31% of the total amount. Okay, let's use another example of rice processing. Rice processing is not the same thing as farming, okay? Rice processing is an entirely different line of business. It's an SME, it's processing of rice, okay? You have to buy the paddy, the rice paddy to process. You are not the farmer unless you want to combine the two, okay? So equipment that you require here will be like destoning machine, rice polishing machine, ECT, and then ETC. And then of course, working capital, on the other hand, will be used for purchase paddy rice, pay salaries, utilities, and other administrative expenses. Of course, as to be expected, the 70-30 ratio will also be observed. The same also with catering. If you are going to catering, equipment that you require might include industrial cooker, chillers, deep freezers, food display units, kitchen utensils, serving plates, furniture, which you will need to break down along the line with the cost. Okay, well, your working capital could be your rent, could be salaries, foodstuff, and fuel. Okay, etc. So that's how you do that one. One key point we have to understand is determining what is equipment and what is working capital. Okay, we should learn to classify them appropriately. If not, the bank may slash our figures during interview. Because, for example, an example I like to give is that somebody wrote furnishing instead of furniture under equipment, and the bank instead of furnishing was under working capital. So if you are written furniture, it will have been approved as an equipment. So we should know the difference between what we are writing. Okay. Another thing that we need to note is that for the working capital, the working capital is not for a whole year. The bank will only fund it for 3 months. Okay. So he expects that after 3 months, the business should be able to take over and start taking care of the working capital. So if you indicate that your staff salary is 450,000, you should be able to explain what that for 3 months. That is what you need to pay the 5-star for 3 months. Okay. at 30,000 naira. And thereafter, the business will be expected to become sustainable and begin to pay for the staff salaries. So yeah, if you're into poultry also, feeds, like I indicated, is very, very important. Okay, so if you indicate that feeds, for example, is 1 million naira, and then you need 10 bags of 10 bags of feeds at and you need a bag of feed is 10,000 naira. You should be able to explain how many bags you require, and then for 3 months. Okay, so that you should have at the back of your mind. Working capital is not for the whole year; it's for 3 months, and then after that, it is to be expected that the business should be able to become self-sustaining. All right. So other components of other subjects we need to complete on the form, loan application form. We've already talked about the purpose of the loan, which is 7. Okay, let's okay. Yeah, okay, so coming back here, other components of the loan application form. We've already talked about the loan amount, the purpose of the loan, then the training details, which is the last section. Here, the training institution, Sidro Nigeria Limited is EDI is a training institution, so you indicate the name, training identification number. By Friday, we'll be doing our graduation and issuing you a certificate. So your certificate number will be a training identification number. Every certificate carries a number, its own unique number. So that is the number that you'll be using. Type of training, the type of training we're having is entrepreneurship training. So indicate entrepreneurship training. Duration is for 5 days, okay, right, 5 days. Then under declaration, here, declaration, you write your name, and then of course you swear, and then you sign your signature and dates, okay? So let's go back and see, we're rounding up now. All right, so training details, which is what I just described, training institutions, Limited-EDI, training ID, a certificate number to be issued to you when you graduate. Type of training is entrepreneurship training program, then duration is 5 days. Declaration, as I said, after completing the application form, the last section is a declaration confirming that the information provided to the best of your knowledge, and you can be disqualified if any of the information provided is found to be false. Okay, so that we've come to the end of this paper. I want to thank you immensely for your listening, and being attentive. We'll now go to ask questions and answers. We'll open the floor once again so that if you have any questions, you can ask, and then I will provide some responses. Thank you once again for being a part of this lecture. I hope it wasn't too long, and I hope it was explanatory enough for you to understand how you go about completing the forms. For those who have not completed the forms yet, I think that should be of some help. For those who have, if you want to make any amendments, you just let us know, okay? Right, thank you. So you can unmute your mics now and then ask your questions. Thank you. Fred, any question? Can see you are with us throughout. At least could see your face.
But just to say thank you, sir.
All right.
I'm really interested, sir. God bless you.
God bless you too. Thank you, madam. All right. Yeah, thank you. Right, Eunice Odan, I can see you're unmuted. You want to ask a question?
Yes, I want to.
Go ahead.
Okay, please. Like when I went to the office to pick up,
Yeah, go ahead, Eunice.
Okay, when I went to the office to pick up the form, I was meant to fill some parts, but some segments I didn't fill. Then this business proposal, as in the loan utility, that segment I didn't fill. But one thing I think may happen is when I go for, if I'm scheduled to go for the interview, they are likely to ask me about some of the things that are filled on the form. Now, are you going to give us a copy of what you're going to submit to them for us to have a knowledge of what was filled on that segment? That's one. Secondly, After going through this class, I realized that there are some things I would have felt differently because I now have a broad knowledge of what these things entails. So there are some things I would have felt differently, which I wasn't opportune to have access to such information while I was filling it in the office there. So is there any way we can do some refilling or adjustments, or I don't know? That's my
Yeah,
question.
right. That's why we actually say we normally take this class the last day, but I would like people to settle first before we take it so that they'll be able to have better understanding. And then, of course, the period is still available for you to come back to the office. And if there's anything changes you want to make, you can also be able to make the changes. And then the sections, we actually try to tell our staff that those who want to, any business you want to go into, we believe that you already have an idea of that business. You know the kind of equipment that you want. You know the kind of working capital you want. So we try to encourage people to feel those things themselves, okay, and then make copies so that they'll hold. Because that particular form, which we just finished discussing, you'll be given the same form again, exactly the same form again to complete, so that you know what you completed with us and then with them. Because these ones we are completing is for purposes of helping you develop your business plan, okay? And when you go to the bank, you complete the same form again, which they will keep. That is the one they will use in considering along with your business plan for consideration. So you can come back and, of course, complete that section, okay? Because now you have a better understanding and you know what you want now. So I will encourage you to come back and do that. Why we tell people not to bother to fill it, most times they say, well, I don't know anything about this business. And then we have the template. So what we do is just to complete it for them. And it's our business planning team that does it. That section, by the time we prepare the business plan for you, there's a section for that. Okay, the equipment, you see the list of the equipment and you see the prices. Okay, so you'll be able to extract that one from the business plan, even if you did not complete it here. Most times when they go for the interview, they call us and will say, check page 11 or so on that form. You'll see the equipment list. But for the working capital comes out in graphic forms in the business plan. Okay, so we'll refer you to it, to that page. Mostly it comes out, I think, on page 11 or so. The other one comes out on page 15 or thereabout. Then you see where it's highlighted. You see the right salaries, administrative costs, rent, and others, and utilities and others. So that is where you'll be able to extract that. But for that one, by the time you know the total amount for equipment, you cannot be able to extrapolate and then assign figures to the working capital. So that's basically what we advise people to do, those that did not complete the form and do not have copies of the forms themselves. Okay, but that's what you can do basically. Okay, is that
Okay.
clear?
Thank
Eunice?
you very much, sir.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. Any other question? John Shaka the Zulu. Is there any question? Are you from South Africa, John Shaka? It's not answering. Okay, Inaboye Lucky. Inaboya Lucky. You have a question?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, Inaboya, good afternoon.
Okay. Yes. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sure, I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
Yeah. The area of my question is regarding these assets.
Hey.
You said if you have, hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Regarding under assets, regarding your rent, administrative salaries, and others. What about if you are a startup? You don't
Sorry?
have an existing. I'm taking an example that you are just starting. You
Yeah.
understand? You don't have an existing whatever.
Yeah.
How do you go about the filling of that rent, administrative expenses, and salary?
Yeah, remember I said this loan is a personal loan. So even if you don't have a company or you're just a startup, your asset, anything that is personal to you, like you have a car, it's an asset. You take it as part of your company asset, okay?
Okay.
If you are renting a house and all of that, we can consider that one as your asset. So you give us a breakdown of the rents in that property. The car, you can write it out as an asset. You give us the lifespan and then the amount and all things like that. So that will take it as part of your assets. Yeah, yeah, that's what we categorize as an asset because it's personal to you. So it doesn't have to be tied to a particular business or not. Okay. Glory Uso, can see you are raising your hand. Yeah, Glory, go ahead.
That had a business running and for some reason it parked and wants to go back to that business. You know, I don't know if I should use that as startup because for some years now I have not been doing that business, but I want to go into it in a higher, dimension. So I don't know if that should fall under startup or expansion.
No, you're already in existence now. It's just that you're on a break or something like that, isn't it? So it's an existing business that you just want to go back. You're looking for funds to pump back into the business to continue to expand the business. So it's an existing business. It can't be a startup anymore. Yeah.
Well, it's as good as starting off because most of those things are no more in use. I don't know.
Okay, the equipment and all that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, the disadvantage there really is if you say a startup, you are starting up, the maximum amount of money you can get is 5 million, unless if 5 million will be enough for to start up the business and then build on it, fine. If not, if you want some more money to be able to really establish and then run with the business, then you take it as an existing business because you have already been doing that business. And then so what you need now is money to restock the business, the equipment, and then move on with your production.
My area of concern is where they will ask for the address of the business and it's no more in use. So I don't know.
Okay, you don't have a location anymore?
Anymore, yeah.
Okay, all right. No problem. Of course, you can go ahead and then indicate as a startup. But if you're starting up, definitely before they come for any inspection, they will, you have that moratorium of 1 year before they come to check what you are doing and before you start repayment.
In that case, the amount for startup might not, well, I don't know. We'll see as it goes, sir.
Yeah, all right. So, but it's something you have to make up your mind about because if we're working on your business plan, we have to indicate whether it's a startup and the maximum, because the moment you put startup, the system itself just limits the amount to 5 million. But if it's existing business, that's when you'll be able to get something higher than that.
In that case, what do I advise? Should I use it as a startup or expansion?
What line of business are you intending on going? What line of business are you going in?
Catering.
Catering.
Yes.
All right. Well, catering, you can see the items are listed in the example for catering. That's quite a number of items. I don't know whether 5 million will do that for you. And then, of course, you rent a place. Okay, so all these things that you require more funds. So I would advise you go for existing business so that you begin to build from there. Where you have more.
Thank you very much.
All right, madam. Pauline in Nagoya, you're anxious to talk? Let's hear from you. Pauline?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma. I can hear you.
My question is, thank you, sir. How soon are we expected to fill and submit this form?
As soon as possible, the earlier the better, so that when your other colleagues are saying, I've received my business plan, you won't come and start shouting and say, I haven't received my, what happened? So the earlier you do that, the better, okay? Because as from Monday, we'll be releasing them to our business plan team to start working on them. So if you get them in the earlier, the better for us.
Okay.
All right. You already have the forms?
Okay, so Monday.
Do you already have the forms?
Not late.
Do you already have the forms?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So you fill and return by Monday if you can. If not, at your own time. Okay.
Yes.
Your line is breaking. Okay.
Right, sir. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Hassan Ahmed, is that Dr. Ahmed? Yeah, okay.
Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, I say in case somebody is starting his business, he apply for 5 million naira.
Yes.
So he quickly paid the money before even the term expired. Like he tried to pay the money within 45 years.
Yes.
And he reapply for another loan, or there is no that distinct to government, because there is need for us to know that, sir.
Well, I think if you have assessed this one once, you're not likely to have the opportunity of assessing it a second time again, because they want the loan to go to as many people as possible. And
Okay, all right.
yeah, so I think if you're able to finish on time, the expectation is that you should continue to grow from there, not to come back and start collecting another loan again.
All right. Thank you, to God. Thank you, sir. I'm
Thank you.
appreciated with this your lecture since from the beginning, sir. Thank God. God bless you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you. I
sir.
appreciate. Thank you too. All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Any other question? Okay. I think the day is long drawn. We kept it for so long. We should have finished much earlier, but today, because we are taking 2 papers. So tomorrow is our last paper. Tomorrow, Friday, we'll reconvene again as the usual time by 10. We'll be having financial planning and basic bookkeeping. So we'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day ahead of you. Let's leave you to go and continue with the rest of your day. Ahmed, you're raising your hand again. Hassan?
No, sir. I'm trying to. I'm just trying to
switch off?
unmute myself.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So have a wonderful day ahead of you. Class is ended for the day. All right, bye-bye.